So tonight, a new report released by the Chesapeake Bay Foundation outlines important economic information at a critical time for local farmers.
Yeah, Congress is aware of this. They're working on next year's farm bill, and this report makes a strong case for the USDA and Congress to devote significant money to help Bay states meet pollution reduction requirements.
Meteorologist Caitlin McGrath visited Rockland's Farm Winery in Poolesville, Maryland, to learn more about how this impacts local farmers.
The report calculates that for every dollar spent helping farmers implement these practices that ultimately improve the water quality in the Bay watershed, they would see $1.75 in higher sales and earnings. So the monetary advantages are quite obvious, but the economic benefits might surprise you. Rockland's Farm is a historic property in the Montgomery County Agricultural Reserve that's been around since the 1870s. It went unoccupied for many years until the Glenn family moved to the property in 2003.
It was this beautiful old kind of rundown farm, and in 2010 we had the vision of bringing life into it and pursuing a life of agriculture. And so we did produce, we did a farmer's market, we had on-site market and things like that.
Initially producing cattle, chickens, and vegetables, but quickly adding a vineyard and winemaking to their growing list of passions.
My wife, my mother, we're a family business, and people are coming into the business finding their niche. So it's not just cattle or not just grapes and wine. There's more of a holistic economy within what we're doing.
And they're doing it with the environment as a top priority.
We had a heart for stewardship and just caring for the land, caring for the soil. So from the very beginning, this holistic, systems-based approach to working with nature, not against it, trying to cultivate nutrient-dense foods, feeding the local community, keeping what's going on in the land for generations to come.
The process is called regenerative farming, where you're not just depleting natural resources or even simply sustaining them, rather you're building on the resources you have, making land more productive and resilient. Something the Chesapeake Bay Foundation is encouraging more farmers to do.
It's really critical to get more carbon and organic matter into the soil, restoring the sponge, which in turn will help with water quality. Reducing flooding events, and then making farms more resilient during times of drought by keeping water in the soil.
These regenerative practices have been done for hundreds and thousands of years, with the African American community leading the way. George Washington Carver began restoring cotton fields in the South by planting peanuts, a legume that pulls nitrogen out of the atmosphere and stores it in the soil.
These are practices that have been around for a long time, but there's definitely a renaissance given climate change issues and farm profitability issues. It's coming back to life.
At Rockland's Farm Winery, conservation practices include no cultivation or herbicides in the vineyard, and in the pastures they're implementing cover crops to help store carbon in the ground year-round, and multi-species rotational grazing, where a variety of animals are moved to different fenced-off sections of the pasture to graze a particular area before moving on to the next.
We're really protecting and promoting the healthy soil biodiversity and soil ecosystem.
Regenerative practices like these aren't widely adapted yet, but there are a few opportunities for the Chesapeake Bay Foundation to help make that happen. The federal farm bill is up for reauthorization next year, and CBF is hoping to get more resources and funding through the bill.
We also want to make some changes that'll make the conservation dollars go to farmers like Greg, who are practicing regenerative practices that we want to see more of, and encourage more farmers to go that route.
Another opportunity is the recently passed Inflation Reduction Act, which has a $20 billion boost for conservation. It's predicted that over the next 5 years or so, if the Chesapeake Bay Foundation is able to invest in all of the practices in mind to help save the Bay, it will create more than 6,700 jobs. I'm meteorologist Caitlin McGrath, WUSA 9.
So if you're wondering what you can do to help, you can always call your elected officials and support the Bay. Tell them to support the Bay. And it's also important to know where your food comes from. Support local farmers. For more information, you can visit WUSA9.com. Just download our free WUSA 9 app. You can do that as well.